What's going on, guys? So this is going to be a fun video. In front of you, you are looking at two incredibly high-end luxury half-ton pickup trucks. One from GMC. This is our 2023 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali pickup truck. This is not the Denali Ultimate. So this one stickers out right around $74,500. It is not the fully loaded version, and because of that, you have to kind of take that into consideration when you watch this video. But we'll go over some of the things that our truck is lacking that a Denali Ultimate might have. Just keep in mind though, this truck in a Denali Ultimate package would be about $5,000 more than this truck right here. As it sits, this truck, this Ram 1500 Limited, is about $3,000 more than our GMC Sierra Denali. You'll definitely see a few things that the Ram has that our GMC does not have. However, if we had spec'd in some of those accessories, we probably could have actually matched the price of the Ram. So just keep that in mind as you watch this video. Okay, so this is the Ultimate Showdown. A lot of people consider these two trucks as the most premium half-ton trucks you can buy. Yes, Ford also makes absolutely high-end premium trucks. I just don't have one of their half-ton trucks here today. It would probably be the Platinum or the Limited. Either of those would compete very well against this category here. That said though, this is what I have. This is what I'm going to compare, just like I compared the Toyota Capstone to the GMC. Now, right off the bat, from a looks perspective, I have to tell you, I think the GMC looks a little more bold, yet the Ram looks a little more elegant. So when you look at the front end, that huge GMC grille, especially on the Denali trim, screaming with chrome. If you get the Ultimate, it's kind of like a blacked out chrome, but it still looks beautiful. But it's this huge in-your-face grille it's flanked by some absolutely gorgeous headlights on each side of it, and the overall front end of the GMC, I think, stands out in such a remarkable way. Just absolutely looks beautiful and bold. Whereas when you look at the Ram, it has kind of a different approach to it. This gives you more of that classy, upscale, high-end, elegant look to it that a lot of people are looking for in luxury vehicles. So it's really bold versus elegant. Which one do you prefer? I like them both. I think they both scream luxury. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. When you see either of these trucks on the road, you know that whoever's driving that truck opted for a luxury trim vehicle, because this front end looks absolutely gorgeous. And the Limited actually gets a different grille, different nose design, different headlights than any of the other trims. So it looks a lot different than any of the other lower trim trucks when you opt for a Limited package. In the Denali, the truck looks very similar to other GMC trucks in the same year. You have the same grille opening, it's just a different grille itself. The headlights, all of that stuff is pretty much the same. So when you opt for a higher trim with Ram, in some ways you get a kind of an entirely different look to your truck versus GMC, where they make some subtle changes to it to identify each truck kind of as its own thing. Now, when we talk about tech, features, and things like that, both of these trucks can be completely loaded up with tech. My truck is available with tow mirrors. However, I did not get them because the truck that I was able to buy didn't have them. This specific truck does have the towing package. On the Ram, it has the towing package as well, and you can see that it has the flip-up towing mirrors on it. I'm not a huge fan of these mirrors. I try to live with them. I use them in the flipped-up position because they work better for me, but I'm just not a big fan of them. So I really hope that the next generation of this truck goes to the same tow mirrors that they put on the newest generation of the Ram heavy-duty truck, because I think they function a lot better. Like this, they just stick out way too far. I'm always wondering if I'm going to hit them on something. Even though my F450 kind of has the same type of mirror, I keep them drawn in when I'm not towing. This truck, again, for me to use these mirrors the way I like to use them, I have to flip them up, and it spreads the truck out a little bit too wide for everyday driving. That said, on the GMC, if you get it with the tow mirrors, they're very similar to the heavy-duty truck with the tow mirrors, and they're actually really convenient. They slide in, they slide out. It's just a very functional mirror. My truck does not have those mirrors, though. They're just standard mirrors, and I actually prefer these standard mirrors over the tow mirrors on the Ram, personally. They both have front parking sensors. Again, both have really, really bold, beautiful, elegant front grills to them. The headlight output and the way the light is dispersed on the road is sharper and cleaner on the GMC versus the Ram. The Ram has great light output, but the projectors aren't quite as precise. You don't get that really straight, clean cutoff line that you get with the GMC. And if that's what you're looking for, the GMC wins from a clarity and a sharpness perspective from the headlights, but they both cast wonderful light on the road, and you don't have to worry about, not being able to see much. I will admit though that the Ram does have a wider disbursement, which is a big plus. So basically the Ram headlights spread out wider on the road. You can see more next to the truck than you can with the GMC. So that is a big plus for the Ram. The Ram has the Hemi eTorque V8. Our GMC of course has the inline 6 LZO diesel. Fuel economy wise, it's no comparison. Had Ram continued with their 3-liter diesel, the Eco Diesel, it would have been a absolute head-to-head comparison in fuel economy, and it really would have been cool to see what type of numbers we would have been getting. But as it sits, we've been getting about 16 miles in the city on this truck and about 22 miles on the highway, whereas we get about 21 to 24 miles in the city on this truck and about 32 miles on the highway. So the diesel is absolutely the winner in terms of fuel economy, and these small diesel upgrades, when you're getting a smaller diesel and not one of the bigger diesels in the heavy duty truck, really doesn't cost that much either. So it's a really good bargain to opt for that engine. No lack of power. It's just a great engine, and I really wish Ram would continue with the Eco Diesel in the half-ton trucks. Okay, wheel design, I'm gonna have to say it's a toss-up. Ram did a great job with the center of the spokes there being contrasting to the outside portion. GMC has a great looking wheel as well. Believe it or not, they actually look very similar. If GMC would have done that same dark kind of pattern on the inside of the spokes, they really would have looked almost identical, honestly. They look very, very similar though. You get Bridgestones on the GMC, and you get the Nexen on the Ram. Both good tires. These are both absolutely leaning more towards on-road driving. These are sipped really well for snow use. These kind of are as well, but these are a little bit more aggressive from an off-road perspective. But, honestly, most people don't really off-road these trucks. The only time you would probably do anything like that is if you were driving it in snow in an environment where it snowed a lot. Coming down the back, our Denali does not have the power extending running boards, but you can opt for that in any Denali trim, which means that we could have, spent a couple $1,000s more and gotten this truck equipped with them if we were actually building the truck, which we weren't. So I can't really say that goes to Ram simply because this truck does cost $78,000 and it does come equipped with them. But if we would have gotten this truck and spent the same amount of money, we could have absolutely gotten their version of the power deploy running board. Now, something I do like, I'm gonna have to say is a win for the GMC, is that the running board extends further back so you can actually use it to access the bed. On the Ram, it doesn't. It extends right to the end of the back door, and you would not be able to use that very well to access the inside of the bed of your truck if you needed to. Okay, spinning around, a few little differences here. They both have the push button entry exit. They do a little different. On GMC, you have to push the button to lock it or to unlock it, right? On Ram, you push the button to lock it, but then you grab the inside of the handle or just touch the inside of the handle to unlock it. Just a few little differences there. They both have 360-degree cameras, all that safety mitigation, lane keeping, all of that. Coming back to the very back. All right, let's talk about the back ends of these trucks. So they both have all LED lighting. The Ram has a cool bumper, which kind of dips down so you can use the entire extent of the bumper to step on if you need to. You can see on the GMC, you could still step on the bumper if you want, but it's definitely a higher step. But they give you corner steps right here as well. So the corner steps help you get into the bed of your truck, help you access things from the bed of your truck. I kind of prefer the corner steps. If they had combined both of these to where you get a corner step and that step, that would have been like the perfect bumper. But this bumper's great if you're just reaching over the back of your truck to get something out. This bumper's great if you're reaching over the back or in the side. So a little bit more access with this bumper because you can also step on top of the bumper, which is really nice. Both of these bumpers kick Toyota Tundra's bumper's butt. Toyota does not put this type of a functional bumper anymore, I don't believe, on the back of their truck. It's functional from a crash perspective, but not so much from using it like a lot of people would use their bumper on a pickup truck. So I'd have to give a big thumbs up to both of them for their innovation in the bumper space. Now let's talk about the next big one, tailgate wars. So I've had a lot of opportunities to use the Ram tailgate, and I've been using the GMC Multi-Pro tailgate for a long time as well. Both absolutely great tailgates, but there are some key differences and advantages that some have over the other. Let's go over those. Okay, so I have both tailgates down and in their multi-function position, not in the traditional tailgate down position. And they both have some really great advantages to them over the other if you're looking for those advantages. Now let's start with the Ram. So the Ram opens up kind of like barn doors. I believe it's like a 60-40 split, but then they give you this step right here that's a little left of your hitch to access the back of the truck if you want to. Now, this works really well. I can simply step right here and get into the back of the truck if I need to, no problem at all. But where this bed really shines is your ability to get close to it if you're doing something or need to do something or need to grab something. Because if I walk right up to the bumper and I reach into the bed, I can reach probably about 15 inches shy of that bulkhead, which is absolutely insane. It is just great to be able to do that. You know, as I go pick up packages or I need to go to the store to do things, the nice thing about this tailgate is the fact that I usually don't open that side. I'll open this side and I can walk right up to it with whatever I have, and I can start stacking things right here, right at the back of the truck. I don't have to worry about leaning over the tailgate to do it. Now, with Ford, you have to do that. And of course, on the new F-150, they've made some changes so you don't have to do that. They've kind of copied this a little bit. But this, to me, is a really cool setup if you load a lot of small stuff into the bed of your truck and you don't need to load it on top of your tailgate. Now, check this out. Okay, so now I'm opening the tailgate. At this point, if I wanted to reach in, I can't even reach to the halfway point of the bed. So again, that's the huge perk. Now the downside of this specific setup is the fact that the step is useless with the tailgate down. So to get into the bed of your truck, you're either climbing up a corner here. Really, there's no way to do it, like easily. There's no quick way of doing it. That step is not functional. What they should have done is put that step there and then also put a corner step there, kind of like Toyota has on the Tundra. Not a bad setup here. Just keep in mind that it's more difficult to get into the bed if the tailgate is down. Or you just have to get in the traditional way of hopping on board. So that is the Ram tailgate. Okay, now mind the mess that we have in the back of our GMC truck here, but this is the GMC Multi-Pro tailgate, same as the Multi-Flex tailgate you can get on a Chevy truck. We put these lights in down here. They're not OEM and they don't come in the truck, and we did not get this with the Kicker, I believe, sound system that you can get this with. But that said, this is the multi-function portion of it that we probably use the most or second most, and this is the step to get into the bed of your truck, which is really nice because the tailgate is down at this point. So if we want to step up into it with the tailgate down, we have that flexibility without having to offload things from the truck, if that makes sense. On this one, if you want to step up using the step and you want to use the tailgate at the same time, you can't. This one you kind of can. Now, if you have something on here and it's maybe overlapping this portion and you want to close the tailgate, you're going to have to close it in the down position, which is a bit more of a struggle because you have to flip the step up and kind of pull the inner tailgate to lock it into the outer tailgate. But it's absolutely doable. It's not something that you struggle with very much. But the second big perk of this tailgate is when you close the step and you want to get close to your tailgate with this truck as well. Now you can see I'm at about the halfway point, a little further back from that, but this still lets me get really close to the bed of the truck so I can access it to do whatever I need to do. So if I'm working right here on the edge, I can still easily access this area of the truck, versus if you have this inner tailgate up, which I kind of have to go through this whole function to do this. This would not be an easy place to do any type of work. I could not use this as a functional work area. And of course, they kind of tout this as being like 6 or 7 functions, but one function, of course, is this workbench setup, which is kind of handy, to be honest with you. But to make this truly functional as a work surface, I think it needs to be flat. You really can't have these slats right here. It needs to be a flat surface, and maybe even one that flips over like this so you have like a true work surface, because your actual true workspace right here is only about 8 inches. So it's not as if you can truly utilize that as like a workbench. However, it still is kind of cool. Load stop feature like this, or when the tailgate is actually down, you can flip this up as a load stop as well, keep things from coming out. I think we used it for that one time and it worked for us, but it wasn't anything that I think was required. I don't think anything we had in the back would have flown out anyways. That said, cool feature. It definitely has grown on me. I can say this tailgate in general, not the specific configuration like this, but this tailgate's grown on me mainly for the ability to get close to the tailgate and to use it as a step like I think most people do. Now with the tailgates up, back end cosmetics, I like the GMC and their HDMI looking plugs for exhaust. On the Ram, it looks really nice. They've used this kind of setup for a while now where it's just round exhaust tips kind of integrated into the bumper, but they both look really, really nice from the back end. Big difference here, Ram actually indicates that this truck is four-wheel drive, whereas GMC does not. Now, from a bed cargo management perspective, Ram wins this one because of the optional bed rail system that they put in here to tie things down. Works really well. On the GMC, they give you a little bit more room on the interior space or the width of the bed right here. And they also give you a few additional tie down points, but the ability for you to flexibly move these rails and connect to them, that's just a really, really great feature. Also, the Ram gives you a button here to turn your back bed light on and off, which GMC does not. You have to do it from the inside of the truck, and believe it or not, that is one of the biggest inconveniences we have with that truck. At night, whenever we're offloading stuff, super dark, just don't have the ability to light up the bed conveniently for a long enough period of time. I love having a button on the inside of the bed. Both Ram and Ford do that. Now we're going to quickly go over the interiors of these trucks. I can honestly tell you, it's kind of the same thing I talked about with the front ends. Ram definitely looks more elegant, whereas GM looks more modern and bold. The elegance factor, the inside of this truck, wins to me hands down. I believe that this Ram interior is far more beautiful than the interior of the GMC. The GMC truck feels more like modern business. The Ram seems more like classic luxury. It's just a far different overall feel and appeal to it versus the interior of the GMC. They both have fully digital displays up front. This one has a 12-inch screen on it. So the screen in the GMC is actually larger when you consider how large it is diagonally. But this screen overall seems much larger. The screen also seems more intuitive from a, features perspective, what you can see on it. The thing this one's lacking that the GMC has, which definitely gives the GMC an advantage, is the Google Assistant. The fact that it uses Google as its main kind of operating system to control everything in the truck really, really makes the GMC stand out. Plus, this truck has their trailer backup assist feature, which the GMC does not have. But again, we did not get the Denali that we have in its most loaded package. So if you take roughly $3,000, $4,000 worth of additional features that could have been added to the GMC, both of these would have played very equally against each other in the features category. That said though, they all have the same safety features pretty much, right? The radar cruise control, blind spot mitigation, lane keeping, all of that stuff. They're both beautiful on the inside, but I have to hand it to Ram. This is still probably the most elegant interior that I've ever seen in a pickup truck. You also have a little bit of a battle of the sound brands here, whereas Ram uses Harman Kardon and GMC uses Bose. Let's take a quick look at the Denali so you can see the interior there as well. Okay, so here's the interior of our Denali. I took the seat cushion cover off. I totally believe that the Ram has a much better ride because the seat is far more comfortable, and the Ram does have air suspension, so keep that in mind. You can get the Denali with adaptive air suspension as well, but this specific truck doesn't have it. You'd have to move to a Denali Ultimate, or I believe option it in. Now, here's the screens on the Denali. You can see diagonally it's a larger screen, but the reality of it is the 12-inch screen inside of the Ram seems bigger and it feels like it's a bigger screen. The Google Assistant that you get with the GMC, I think actually makes this one a little bit more functional because it gives you access to a lot of information you just can't get on the Ram. Overall though, again, very kind of business-like inside of the GMC, very classic luxury inside of the Ram. They both have a lot of really great features like heads-up display. That's something that both of them share. If you get this one in an Ultimate package, you can get massaging seats, which is not available on the Limited. And the massaging seats actually help. It's a functional feature a lot of people really like. But yeah, this specific truck right here is our truck. We've had this one for a little over a year, and it's been a great truck. But I can honestly say that the seats are far more comfortable in the Ram, and the ride characteristic a little bit softer, but not quite as planted as the Denali. So it feels more comfortable overall in the Ram when you drive, but this truck feels a little bit more planted or connected to the road. Now, quickly taking a look at the back seat of the GMC, not a lot of craziness going here, but the one area of back seat innovation that GMC and Chevy have both introduced is this pocket back here. So basically, you have access to storage. I have a little multimeter I keep back there, and it's not much storage, but it is still nice to have some storage. The under seat storage is very, very, very compact back here. I don't think they did a great job managing under seat storage in the Denali versus the Ram. Now to the Ram, not only does the interior look a lot nicer, but backseat innovation on the Ram is pretty dang awesome. Mainly because a couple things. First of all, the storage space here is much, much greater. They used a divider that was much thinner. It is so much more easier to use, and you can fold it flat, which is not something you can do with the GMC. Also, there's no transmission hump in the Ram, which is really nice as well. It's just a completely flat floor. The GMC still has a small transmission hump. This has a 110 outlet back here. It also has one up front. The GMC only has one in the center console. This also gives you 4 total USB power supplies, whereas the GMC only gives you 2. One USB-C and one standard USB. This also has ventilated back seats, whereas the Denali only has heated rear seats. Now, something else that makes this kind of a game-changing seat is this feature. Now, this is what makes the Ram seat really game-changing. The fact that it's reclinable by sliding the bottom cushion outwards. This right here changes everything about this truck. You have so much legroom still, even though you've slid the seat up like 3 inches, but you have so much more incline to the back seat for backseat passengers if you're on a longer trip. You also have a far more functional center console. The center console back here feels like the center console that you get in some newer trucks if you get a bench front seat. Very large, you have storage right here in the center. It's just a far, far better executed center console than what you get in the GMC. Overall, the interior of the Ram, I think, kind of handedly beats the GMC Denali. You even get some speakers back here in the top. Another feature I like in this truck that kind of competes against the pockets GMC and Chevy puts in the center are these pockets that you get underneath the floor. So the difference here is if you have somebody sitting in the GMC and they're covering that pocket, you can't access it without having them move forward. With this, you can have them lift up their legs or move them to the side, and you have these really great side access pockets, which are much larger than what you have in the GMC, and you can even put ice inside of them, which is really nice. But yeah, that's what the interior of the Ram looks like. And honestly, I think this handily beats the Denali. Now, I know, depending on which brand you're a fan of, you're probably going to pick your side before you even start watching the video. But the reality of this is there are a lot of reasons why you would like both of these trucks, and even a Ford if I had a Ford sitting here. The reality behind these trucks are they're tailoring these trucks to be as luxurious as possible, to give you all the amenities of a luxury car or SUV, while at the same time giving you the utility and the capability of a pickup truck, and I think they've nailed it. The fact is, you really just have to pick the truck you like the most based on the look of the truck, the style, what you're used to, and what you're looking for. But either way, you're not going to go wrong. All these trucks are really expensive, regardless, any way you slice it. It's worth driving all of them before you drop that kind of money. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to what truck you prefer, the interior that you may prefer, the towing mirrors, the bed technology, the tailgate technology, the light output, the back seat. All of that stuff should matter to you. And if you're a fan of one brand, worth looking at another brand to see what they're doing to try to earn your business. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.